supposed to start with a pistol.
You can start many things with a pistol.
Okay, let's just do it. I'm ready.
I'm waiting for the health checks to pass. We gotta pass our health checks.
I passed.
Where's your
starting.
test?
We're starting the podcast in media res, as requested.
As requested. What are we doing?
Res.
I'm currently jumping up and down.
Why?
Because it has to be in media res. That's what it means. In the middle of action.
Ah, interesting. I am robbing a bank. Hey, all of you, cut it out. You better cut that out.
Is it too late to do a Jeffrey Tubin joke?
I don't know. Yeah, you could try it.
I'm mid-com.
Okay. It was too late.
Yes.
Turns out it was exactly too late. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I'm Nate Balding.
I'm Roger Norquist.
This week's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroko brand foot stretcher. Are you jealous of Bigfoot? Can you not fit your foot into a clown shoe? Would you like big, crazy, scary feet? Mm-hmm. Then sign up with the Monstroko foot stretching system today. It looks like they'll send a Monstroko foot stretcher to your house and some foot lube. I don't know what that is. It says enhances foot malleability. And it just says like 6 weeks and you'll have big old feet, big. It says a few times, big, crazy, scary feet. So I imagine like, the lube has some sort of mutagen factor in it. But yeah, that's the
secret of the use
product. Monstroko, it hurts. That seems to be the tag on this one.
Now, I'm a size 13.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be a size 22 double W.
You got to go wait. This is bigger than that. This
double
is
W. Whew.
Yeah,
for double wide.
Yeah. They go into W.
No, we understood.
Okay, sorry.
The smallest guaranteed foot size you can expect from this is a 27 double W.
I'm fine with it.
All right, man. It's a lot of foot. It's a lot of foot, man.
Well, listeners, next week I'm gonna try the foot stretcher.
Sure, dude. You'll be. The problem is,
make sure you get that lube.
Yeah.
The foot lube is very important. You can't use toe jam. Like I thought you could. No.
You do not want to put an unlubed foot into a foot stretcher. Woo! Learn that lesson once. You can technically learn it 2 times, but you only want to once.
All right, so are we still talking Bigfoot? Is it November still?
It is. Of course we are. It's Bigvember. It's all November episodes will be packed to the gills with as much Bigfoot as we can get in there physically. I have a segment that did anybody want to go first, or can I?
They go first.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. I have a segment that I'm calling Atlas Sasquatchia. Come away with me, if you will, as we discover the Bigfoots of the world in Atlas Sasquatchia.
So how many are there?
See, that's difficult. It depends on who you ask. Some people include things like bat squatch. Some people won't include things like or won't differentiate between, say, a Sasquatch and an Ohio grassman, but other people do. So we'll touch on some of the more interesting hominid ogroid legends from around the world, and we're going to start with an old fave. You know what? Maybe we ought to start with Bigfoot themselves. We'll start with Sasquatch.
Let's establish a baseline.
Yes, your typical what you sometimes hear referred to as a paddy style Bigfoot.
Okay, now this is an Irish slur version of the Bigfoot.
What's happening? What type of show?
Oh, these drunken Bigfoots. It's okay. I'm drunk. They call it paddy because this is the Bigfoot demonstrated or allegedly filmed in the Patterson-Gimlin footage. This is
Okay.
your average Northern California through Oregon, through Washington into Vancouver, Sasquatch style Sasquatch.
And
You
I
know?
suppose calling it a Gimli type would be away from Bigfoot. Much
Yes,
smaller
yes.
specimen of harried man.
Yes. This is Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch in Canadian and American folklore, is an ape-like creature that is said to inhabit the forests of North America. Supposed evidence of Bigfoot's existence is based on a number of disputed short videos, photographs, visual sightings, casts of large footprints, etc. Folklorists trace the figure of Bigfoot to a combination of factors and sources, including folklore surrounding the European wild man figure, folk belief among Native Americans and loggers, and a cultural license in environmental concerns. Interesting.
So now I kind of feel like if you're a logger, you're working on that mill.
Mm-hmm.
The Bigfoot is just the biggest guy you work with.
Sure.
And like that's an established. That person is real.
Have you seen Fritz? Have you seen Fritz? He got hold of one of those European foot stretchers you hear about. Gigantic. 32 triple W's.
It's not a purse. It's a European foot stretcher.
The fella can walk on water. They're like a couple of canoes, but boy, is he sad. Okay, we're moving on from your basic Bigfoot.
I do someday want to revisit Canoefoot the mime. That was the image that I had.
That's the legend of Canoefoot from the Great White North. Okay, so we're moving on to the Yeti. Sometimes people, I think there's some confusion around the difference between a Sasquatch and a Yeti. People will be like, who's the abominable snowman? Is it the same thing as Bigfoot? And the answer is no. You're looking at the difference between, let's say, a leopard in Africa and a snow leopard in Tibet.
Okay.
You could think of the Yeti as a snow Bigfoot, a snow Yeti, a snow Sasquatch, a snow Squatch.
Sasquatch, yeah.
Sure. It's basically Bigfoot, ground type. Let's say what is Bigfoot? Ground type?
Ground.
Ground or grass.
Ground grass? Okay. If Bigfoot is ground grass, the Yeti is ground ice.
Gotcha.
So
All
the
right.
Yeti, or Yet, YET-HEH. This is from bigfootbase.com, by the way. An incredible and fun Bigfoot resource that I found over the weekend. A Sherpa phrase simply meaning that thing.
You know what? That makes as much sense as Bigfoot.
Man, good for them.
It does.
Much respect to another language that doesn't have beautiful words. It's just
look,
like that thing.
Or maybe if you live in a fucking in the iciest ice level in the world, you just don't have time to come up with all these names for things. It's a thing. I don't know.
You're too busy running from it for identification.
We need
Yeah,
to
you're
survive.
wasting all your energy and just energy, surviving the cold, and now that thing over there.
Oh, Yeti is a globally recognized cryptid, perhaps the first true celebrity of cryptozoology. The Yeti resides in the Himalayan mountain range and inspired high-profile expeditions from the Western world to prove its existence in the mid-20th century. The creature was always a facet in the Nepalese spiritual culture, but it did not gain worldwide intrigue until 1951 when a set of giant footprints were photographed at the base of Mount Everest. Now, it is worth noting that last week, my friend and yours, Sir David Attenborough, was in the news after saying that he was convinced of the Yeti's existence. He doesn't believe in Nessie. He doesn't believe in a lot of the things, a lot of the cryptids, he says, but he is convinced by these particular footprints. Very, very convincing footprints, he said.
He's not going with some kind of ape idea.
Very, very convincing footprints. He is kind of, but so are we. We're just saying,
Right, I guess it's true.
Unknown bipedal hominid lives in Tibet. But he does go on to say that they may be misidentifications by Westerners of the snow monkeys, the bathing snow monkeys.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
love
a
those
huge
things.
bathing snow monkey.
But that's also minimizing the like the whole Tibetan spiritual culture of it, and like the fact that it's been around for thousands of years. So it's like the main takeaway from this is my man David Attenborough believes in the Yeti. Come on,
Yeah, fair enough.
get in the car is what I'm saying. We're going squatching. The term this is also the Bigfoot that you will hear referred to as the abominable snowman, which is a term from a convoluted series of mistranslations between Nepalese and Westerners in the early 20th century.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody was drawing a Tintin strip and just made some shit up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna, you know what? I'm a French asshole. I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I think this crappy drawing on your wall is supposed to be.
Snowman abominable. Unlike the North American, this is what the Yeti supposedly looks like. Unlike the North American cousin Sasquatch, the Yeti stands on average 5.5 feet tall.
Okay.
It is not as physically imposing as a Sasquatch, but still features a hulky build, exceptionally long arms, and massive shoulders, a distinct cone-shaped head. Eyewitnesses,
kind of a Chuck Liddell type character.
I'm picturing an apoplectic Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Narful Lagarthok situation up there. Nabs, drop it. Eyewitness reports and Sherpa stories describe the creature as dark in color, usually with short, coarse, reddish hair. The rare creatures have been seen in pairs, wandering casually over snowbanks and across mountain passes.
Okay, let me throw this out there. This might be a wild theory, but is the entire Yeti mythology the basis for Brad Pitt in 7 Years in Tibet?
We can only assume, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, now that we think about it, yes. The answer is obviously yes.
Sure. Yeah, very true. Now you're thinking of the porn version of that 7 years in this otter.
Gross.
Hang on.
All right.
Just hang on.
I'm holding on, baby.
Okay, here we go.
I mean, honestly,
Interesting.
The abominable snowman, I really want that to be an actual snowman.
It was one of my favorite villains from Scooby-Doo. Remember that abominable snowman?
Sure.
I very much do. He's in the credits.
The concept of a Yeti, this is the Yeti and Tibetan culture. Roger, cut everything up until now. We're starting over. I'm kidding.
Sure, starting over.
The Yeti and Tibetan culture. The concept of the Yeti is deeply ingrained in the Himalayan culture. Across the mountain range, each region knows it by different names. Yeti, Kimo, Tenmo, Zute, and more. The creature, whatever you may call it, usually represents a negative spiritual force in the mountain. Drawn and painted as dark and monstrous, the Yeti is feared as something of a watcher in the mountains, looking out
like
for
a winter
people.
wizard.
Sure. With that cone head, you know?
Yep.
Looking out for people who commit bad deeds. Festivals and ceremonies often include Sherpas dressed as the creature. The embodiment of anger, bad luck, and misfortune. The characters antagonize the village people. What? Okay.
Because that's the tradition.
Listen, I'm just glad they're still working. Ultimately, the monster is driven back into the mountains at the conclusion of the performance.
I really dig the rituals of other cultures and how theatrical it gets to where like it's a real performance, it's a battle. I saw it in that Werner Herzog documentary too. They have a festival where people dress up as the demons and some of the cryptids of the land. Sure. And the other players have to push them back into the dirt.
Fight them back. It's movies, man. It's the oldest form of movies, you know?
You mean plays?
Yeah.
That's what they're called. Thank you, Nate.
Okay, we're going to move on to the skunk ape. You guys may have heard me casually throw in the term skunk ape around. As though that's
in a hurtful way, and it kind of is offensive right now. But
As
I always assumed you were talking about Italians or some shit.
As though that's a thing that people know about. Just power through, Jordan. Power through. What is a skunk ape? Deep in the swamps of the southern United States lives a dark, putrid-smelling ape-like beast known as the swamp ape or skunk ape. Regional legends like the Fulk Monster, the Boggy Creek Monster, and the Honey Island Swamp Monster are generally considered forms of swamp apes, although we already know the Honey Island Swamp Monster is something of a reptilian cadence about it. The creature is often seen darting across back roads, moving through the tree line, wandering into campsites, and foraging through dumpsters. Encounters suggest that it is the most aggressive version in North America. It is the most aggressive.
No, I think we need to someday explore the most aggressive virgins in North America. Boy, and not in a way that would make them non-virgins.
Hey, listen, I mean by exploring. Hey, look, I wish somebody would explore them, frankly, make them a little less angry.
I guess we're just talking about incels and Proud Boys now, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much.
This has all been a metaphor.
So many stories account for no evidence that the skunk ape is a virgin. He, by all accounts, gets
skunk ape.
Sorry. Okay. Many stories. Do we want to try that again and just one of us do a joke?
I don't see why we'd start doing that now.
Okay, nice. What does a skunk ape look like? Physically, the skunk ape has more in common with chimpanzees and orangutans than other versions of Bigfoot. It is leaner, shorter, and more ape-like than a Sasquatch, though some witnesses report a creature standing over 7 feet tall and weighing an estimated 400 pounds. That is no chimp.
But that's a lot smaller than a Bigfoot. Bigfoot's like, what, 8 and then 1,000 pounds or so?
Truth. Bigfoot is,
He's a hefty fella.
A hefty fella.
Bigfoot.
Big mass for
he's looking at racks of LBs.
Yeah. Truth. Truth. But... you know, the vert is pitiful. He can barely jump. Lost a lot of mobility with all of that bulk. The hair that covers its body is long and coarse, and it quickly moves through the wild with an attentive, scanning nature. Some witnesses compare the skunk.
Wait, like it's been in Nam? It's just looking around all.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
It stares never less than 1,000 yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
Okay. You mean like he's seen some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or conversely, it's a hillbilly that's high on mushrooms and he's just looking for cops.
Listen to this. Some witnesses compare the skunk ape to a hunched over crackhead. Or an animal infected with rabies.
I get those two confused all the time.
Seriously, those are not. You don't want to mix them things up.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I walk to the bus sometimes at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. All right.
I walk to the bus, I don't walk the bus. It drives me around. It's a much better situation than the bus.
Sure.
But the difference between rabid animal and person that might be
crack enthusiast,
severely, very slim. That is a margin. You can just assume either one and treat it the same way.
Yeah. We won't get into it, but sometimes you see somebody and you're like, do you need help? And their eyes just say, no way, man. I'm having the time of my life. You're like, okay then. Skunk ape evidence, pictures and video. Several plaster casts of chimp-like feet have been taken in the South, distinctively ape-like. Many prints may actually be real chimpanzees treading through the Everglades. Many believe there's a small population of escaped or released chimps in Florida that have sustained a breeding population. The most notable photos of the creature were taken in 2000 in Myakka, Florida. The Myakka photo is incredible. I'm sure I've shown it to at least you two, and we should tweet it out when this episode goes live because it's incredible.
Yeah, we'll have a bunch of Bigfoot photos for this week.
Yeah.
Showing those photos was the reason that you had to cut off the engagement, right?
Yes, precisely. Precisely. An elderly woman snapped 2 pictures of what she thought was an escaped orangutan. The creature, she says, wandered into her backyard on 3 separate nights to steal apple. Skunk ape video evidence exists, but is scarce and questionable. The Lettuce Lake footage is the most compelling piece of skunk ape evidence in recent years. And we will link to bigfootbase.com, and you guys can check out all these videos and stuff.
They have audio, videos. It's a really great resource.
Totally,
dude.
We are going to move on to my personal favorite. Also, they call it the skunk ape because it stinks.
It's stanky, boy.
It is a stink. It is a stink thing. You will smell it before you see it. So we're going to move on to a personal favorite, the orang pendek.
Yeah. Indonesians, baby boy.
This is my favorite one. This is the orang pendek of Sumatra, and I think it's probably the most likely one. What is the orang pendek? Orang pendek is the name given to a cryptic race of short, hairy ape-like hominids that live in the remote rainforests of Sumatra. For well over a century, the creature has been sighted by tribes, villagers, and non-native researchers. Only a century, huh? Sightings mainly take place around farmlands where they've been observed snatching up crops by locals. Logging and expanding plantations throughout Sumatra are encroaching on the orang pendek island habitat, a dwindling environment paired with dozens of highly credible sightings by visiting biologists and primatologists give researchers great confidence that this animal will be discovered soon and protected.
What happens if it is found? Like, do we have a celebration day?
I think our work is done. I think we can sleep for 1,000 years.
I don't think you want to sleep if you know this thing's real.
I don't know. I know if they prove Bigfoot is real, I think I could.
I mean, Bigfoot, you could sleep in the guy's lap. It's fine. He seems like a kind creature.
Sure.
But if you know that Bigfoot's real, I feel like you gotta give credence to a lot of other really strange angry cryptids.
It's a toe in the door. Exactly. Careful. There's weird shit behind that door. Something might bite that toe off. If they discover, you know what, we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. If they discover unequivocal evidence of a secret hominid anywhere on the planet, I'll get a Bigfoot tattoo. How about that?
I like it. Let's all get the one you already tattoos.
Have. What is the orang? That's my face, Nate. What does the orang pendek look like? Imagine a short, buff, hairy ape with human facial features. They have a conical head, not unlike reports of the Sasquatch, and very similar to a gorilla. Primarily witnessed on ground level, breakdancing. No, never mind. Sorry. Some reports suggest they live in the trees as well. The creatures are short, 2 foot 5 inches to around 4 foot 10 tall, have a divergent big toe like a human, and sport short brown, gray, black, or gold fur. They are reportedly very physically adept with massive shoulders, chest, and arms. Ladies.
Hell yeah.
Intimidating canine teeth, similar to a mandrill or baboon, fellas, have been documented as well. Orang pendek evidence.
Did you know that the Dutch explorer who first really saw one was very attracted to it? He thought it was a beautiful beast.
Ugh.
Yep, in that way as well.
That's weird. Orang pendek evidence. British researcher Debbie Martyr spent 20 years documenting evidence and recording eyewitness stories. Though not able to provide physical proof of the elusive creature, Martyr collected many bipedal ape footprint casts and claims to have observed the creature several times. Official analyses of several tracks state that an unknown primate indeed created them. Many believe this elusive Sumatran phantom is a relic hominid related to the recently discovered Homo floresiensis. Remains of this ancient group were found on a nearby island in Indonesia called Flores. This race of hobbit people, as described in the media, only existed 12,000 years ago, with so many paralleling physical features and close proximity to Sumatra These theories are especially compelling.
Florenza survives.
Florentiensis. That's the Orang Pandek. Any day now. What if it's the ghost of?
I mean,
what if it's the ghost of Florentiensis?
Florencia.
Florencia.
Yeah, I think that's definitely probable, given the number of paranormal specters that are haunting Indonesia all the time.
Or even just a time slip. What if the Indonesia has some kind of crazy quartz deposit under it, and like time anomalies are happening, and we're seeing Florentienses frolicking and eating, their hobbit melons and raising chickens and playing little.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of blew my mind on that one.
Out there having second breakfast.
Out there having hella second breakfasts, third breakfast all day. It's breakfast all day in the Sumatra of the past. We're going to talk about this one fight. There are other Bigfoot types, but this is the last for the Atlas Sasquatchia. Bigfootbase.com has 4 of kind of the big major ones, and maybe if there's time, we'll go into some of the smaller ones in another episode. But all Bigfoots are important, but these are kind of just your heavy hitters. We're going to talk about the Yowie. This is Australia's Bigfoot. You guys know about the Yowie?
Yeah, this one's angry, crazy.
Yeah, Yowie is scary. Yowie is mean. Yowie dates back to at least the 1700s with the Aborigines stories, through the 19th and 20th centuries. European witnesses also reported encounters. Originally known as Yahoos, Yowies maintain an aggressive reputation, known for menacing national park campsites and stalking livestock on outback farms.
I hate 2 things. I hate ranchers and I hate state parks. I'm Yowie.
Vote Badfoot.
Yowie 2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
They are most often witnessed. Yeah, when Bigfoot runs, this is the guy who's going to be running against him. They are most.
He's going to be doing that weird Trump thing that happened to Hillary, where he's just standing and posing behind the Bigfoot.
Yeah. They are most often witnessed alone or with one other creature, regardless of month or time of day. They are known for emitting terrible odors. Same.
All commonly these big feet are very stinky.
Commonly compared to the stench of a rotting animal. When together, the creatures have been heard communicating with one another in a rapid, garbled speech.
They have language. This is what we've been saying.
In addition to the term...
All right. No, but they're in Australia, and that sounds like rapid, garbled speech no matter what.
Sure. That's about a quarter turn off of regular Australian talk. In addition, although we sound strange to the Australians, it's the reason we're at war with them.
Who has the real accent? I forgot we're at war with Australia. Thanks for reminding me.
In addition to the term Yahoos, Yowies are sometimes called bush apes, Quinkin, Jugabina, Gubba, and wildmen, among many more names. What does a Yowie look like? The creature is described by eyewitnesses and through Aboriginal legends as typically over 6'10" and covered in at least 1 inch long, very coarse, matted hair. The hair colors reported are diverse: white, red, dark brown, and black. Its arms are disproportionately long with large but narrow feet. Aboriginal legends suggest the creatures wield long talon-like nails. In 1912, a New South Wales surveyor was approached at his mountain campsite by a perceived Yowie. The man described a monster with a small, chinless human face with deeply set eyes and long canine teeth that beat its chest and growled at him.
Can you just imagine a character from Bob's Burgers coming at you just all chinless? That's what I think about when it says this, yeah.
Well, and when you were talking about long but narrow feet, I was picturing like Oscar Pistorius on his running things.
Yeah. A real
blades.
Yeah, sure. I mean, these things are a pair of real cross-country skis, apparently. Anyway, pretty scary. It's only found in Australia, so, hopefully it's not a problem quite yet. But could you imagine one of these things stowing away on a Qantas flight or something?
Like
well, dude, check it out.
Like,
I saw a third Hemsworth in a movie the other day, and you let one of these motherfuckers in, it is going to multiply.
Sure.
What if it was like a arachnophobia situation to where the Yowie sneaks away on a person he killed? Like, let's say Yowie kills a person, okay? Sneaks away in his coffin, and now he's in America
or just sneaks away in his identity. That's this. This is what I'm saying. The Yowie kills a guy, shaves himself, takes the wallet, takes the clothes. Now I'm Kevin Pollak or whatever. Now I'm friggin' Jeremy Piven. Nice. Hope you had a nice vacation, Jeremy.
Killed maybe by the Hemsworths are Yowie.
Son of a bitch. Cracked it. The Yowie code. This. I like it a lot.
The Yowie Code by Werewolf Radar, coming from Penguin, Simon and Schuster books.
Self-publishing. Werewolf Radar Press presents. That does it for the Atlas Sasquatchia, guys. This is a Bigvember. Goes on. We will keep digging into Bigfoot every week.
Yes.
As promised.
Nate, would you like to go next?
Keep digging into it right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I have more Bigfoot